Rocking the Cat Eyes by buggachat. Chapter 5. Up for Slaughter. Adrian didn't know why he'd done it. When he'd heard the jingle of keys at the front door, he knew it was Marinette. There was no part of him that thought that it'd be anyone else, no part of him that had expected her to bring company, and no part of him that thought that she'd be upset by the sight of him. And still he panicked. The fear had slammed into him like a freight train, and he was locking himself in the bathroom and shrugging off the dress before he had time to realize that he was doing it. If anything, wouldn't she be glad to know that he liked the dress that she'd made for him? That he was putting it to use? And yet, still, he'd been scared. He didn't know what he'd been scared of. It just felt like a secret for some reason, but he wasn't sure why exactly. It only seemed to make everything worse. "Yeah, Marinette, so I got bored and put on my dress and some of your makeup." Sure seemed a lot easier to explain in retrospect than, "Yeah, Marinette, so I was secretly wearing the dress you made for me and secretly putting on your makeup." It sure made it seem weirder. Adrian didn't actually believe that wearing the dress that she'd made for him was something that needed to be kept hidden, and he didn't believe that wearing makeup was either. But what he'd been doing somehow was, because in some weird way he felt it went beyond just wearing a dress and wearing makeup. He didn't want to dig any deeper into it, though. Instead, he'd tried to play it cool, but he'd felt Marinette's inquisitive eyes on him, and he couldn't help but wonder if she knew, if she'd figured it out, if she thought it strange, if she got suspicious. Suspicious of what? He didn't know. He tried not to think about it. Fortunately, it was easy not to. Unfortunately, it was only easy because now he had a much more pressing issue at hand. Marinette was acting weird again. Or, more specifically, she'd never stopped acting weird. She'd never stopped her strange, "I love women and I support you no matter what" spiels, but now she seemed to have taken a different tone with them. Instead of gentle smiles and nervous eyes as she'd say them, she now seemed sad, quiet, tired, repeating herself as though even she was growing bored of the words that left her mouth. She seemed disappointed. "I love you," she'd say almost mechanically, as if reading from a script that she didn't like, staring at him with exhausted eyes. You you do know that, right?" And he got the distinct sense that he'd done something wrong. "You can tell me anything," she'd mutter, her once cast-down eyes lifting up to stare right into him. And then she kept staring at him, and staring. She was looking for something from him. She wanted something, but he didn't know what, and whenever he didn't deliver, she only seemed to deflate further. He felt like he'd done something to upset her, but he wasn't sure what. All he could think that he'd done was change out of his clothes when she'd arrived at the Kwame's dance party, but he wasn't sure why that had upset her so much, and it didn't explain the fact that she'd been saying those lines, albeit in a different tone, for weeks before that. She was looking for something. She wanted something from him. She wasn't getting it. She was getting upset. She was disappointed. But she was still kind to him. Between cold gazes, she'd grasp his hand under the table. Between her wary sighs, she'd hold him close at night. Between her frowns, she'd pepper him with kisses. Adrian was well acquainted with getting mixed signals from Marinette, but not at this stage in their relationship. Not now. Not like this. "I'd so happily marry a woman," she'd say, her eyes cast out the window. He got the distinct feeling that something bad was coming, something very bad. He wondered how long it would have taken for her to drop the bomb on him. He knew very well that Marinette was the queen of stalling, and now he found himself banking on it, because he certainly wasn't going to be the one to rock the boat, to lay the final straw down upon her back, to give her an excuse to put an end to the strange tension between them. He'd happily live every day in fear of the next, if only it meant keeping her by his side. "I love you, Adrian. You know that, right?" the Marinette in his nightmares would sigh, I'm not sure I'm in love with you. And there's this girl that I, dear God, he wouldn't let her stall as long as he would let her stall as long as she needed. He would take advantage of the pitying looks that she often seemed to shoot his way. He would take advantage of the guilt she seemed to carry, if only it meant keeping her around for just a little longer. She was wonderful, and she was kind, and she clearly didn't want to break his heart. And, well, he didn't want her to either. At least they were on the same page about that. He laid stiff in bed, flat on his back with his eyes locked on the ceiling, as Marinette crawled in beside him. Last night she'd cuddled right up to him. She'd draped her arm around him and peppered his cheek with kisses. He was hoping for more of that, more green flags in the sea of red. He wondered if reaching out to her first would be a bad move, if it could topple their tower blocks. He waited, holding his breath, to see what move she'd make. They were both still for a long moment. Are you asleep? She whispered, breaking the silence. He sucked in a breath. No. Silence again, and she didn't seem to be reaching out to him. He turned his head to look, her eyes staring right back at him. He swallowed. We need to talk, she said, and he felt like he'd been pulled under, completely submerged in the depths of ravenous waves. I should have talked to you sooner. I've been meaning to for a while, but I didn't know how to best bring it up. And no, he said, startling even himself. He couldn't lose her, not her. He'd already lost everyone else. Everyone left him. Everyone always left him. But he couldn't bear to lose her. Not now, not already, not like this. Her eyes widened. What? He cringed, and he didn't know what to do. His heart was racing, slamming in his chest, and he didn't even know what she was going to say, not beyond the fact that it would likely destroy him. Give me a day, please. Her brows furrowed. A day? Please, he croaked, wondering if he sounded as pathetic as he felt. We can talk. Just give me a day. She stared at him, and he hoped that she'd grant him the final mercy, a last chance, just one, to try to salvage whatever he was about to lose. Her eyes softened, and she nodded. Yeah, okay, of course, you can have a day. He nodded back, not trusting himself to speak lest he start crying. He turned his attention back on the ceiling, thought pounding in his ears as his mind raced for some kind of plan of action. Marinette was the planner, not him. She was the idea person, not him. He was just the action man, and he was nothing without her. And he needed her. Needed her. Needed her. The gentle tips of her callous fingers brushed down his palm, her hand slotting into his. I love you, she whispered, and he squeezed his eyes tight, wondering how he could possibly keep it that way. Ooh, the drama. That's a great reaction. Anyway, I feel the emotions. The emotions are hitting me so hard while reading this fic. Purely because I actually don't know, but that chapter specifically. Oh, he's so scared. He's like, no. Oh, the miscommunication. Whoops. This is why you need to talk to people. I mean, she's trying to talk to him. She's trying. It's not working out for her. But anyway, tell me what you guys think of this. I genuinely love this fic so much. It is so fun, and we're in chapter 6 is the last one. So this is the second last chapter. It's raining so much I can hear it. I don't think you can on the mic because it's like quiet and stuff like that, but it is loud. So that's pretty though. Anyway, tell me what you guys think of this fic. In the comments. I love hearing you guys' opinions. It's so nice. I love seeing what other people think. It's so fun. Genuinely part of the reason I started this channel, just to see what other people think of the fics that I'm randomly reading. Okay, I will see you guys in the next video. Bye bye!